I do what I do because I've lived what I do. And this is my vocation, working with bereaved, dumped and divorced men and women, and I work with couples. So it's everything around relationships, because personally in my own life previously, I found relationships so very difficult. Having been born into a very difficult family who never connected, there was a lot of disconnection in my home growing up. I've been bereaved, I've been dumped, I've been divorced. I'm no stranger to a lot of bereavement and a lot of loss. Creating a really safe space is so important, because people come in pain, and knowing that they can feel truly seen and heard, where we find solutions and those next steps. Also understanding what happened back there that brought them here. You know, a lot of different relationship choices where individuals really experience a lot of trauma in relationships, whatever's happened to them. We unpack that and find out how to make a difference moving forward. For me, everything starts with a discovery call. So I'll either meet someone on Zoom or we will speak over the phone to hear if we're a really good match. And in that conversation and in that flow and in understanding what that issue is that's presenting in their lives that they'd like to resolve, what the pain is for them, we get a sense of, are we a good match? Do I want to work with you? Do you want to work with me? And then there's a big welcome. You know, because I work all over the world, so you know, if it's on screen, online, it's like being in the room. I just can't give you a big hug. If you need a big hug, or welcome you as you walk in the door. Coaching individuals depends on what they're experiencing. So if you've come to see me because your relationship has ended very suddenly, you'll be in a state of grief. And I will help you transition those different stages as you create the life you want, because generally people don't know who they are anymore without their significant other. So whether someone has died or whether the relationship has died, who am I without you? We work out that. I help you to understand what is happening in your brain and your body as you're going through this process that is so painful. And creating a new life, focusing on 8 life areas, helping the individual to determine what is they want more of, how do they want to show up, who do they want in their lives, and what do they want to be doing more of as well. And I always talk about sunshine. These are the 3 S's, you know, structure, support and sunshine. It's the metaphorical sunshine that lifts your state from here to there every day, because it is about every day, as each day has a structure where you have that support from specific individuals, and also in the work that you're doing or whatever it is that you choose to do that day. I hear that all the time. In fact, clients who've been heartbroken really try and convince me that they're never going to find anyone. And that's not true, because every single one of my clients who wants a relationship finds the right relationship. There's never perfect, there's right, and there's certainly wrong. One of the biggest mistakes I see individuals making, and they've made those mistakes when they come and see me, is they move too quickly and they don't know what they want. So, and they also base a relationship on the chemistry. And this insane, amazing chemistry certainly guarantees that it's the right relationship, and that's not. Compatibility is far more important than chemistry. Chemistry, you know, kind of does that. Compatibility is, you know, do I share the same values as you? Can we have a good time together? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I feel safe with you? Can you soothe me? Am I challenged in the relationship? Compatibility and growth in a relationship are the most important aspects of what keeps a couple together. if you don't want to grow with me, if you're not into working on yourself and our relationship, we're not going to last. There are successful relationships in this world, definitely. I'm living, in a really successful and a really wonderful relationship. Relationships will have conflict, they will have triggers. If we're expecting that there should never be any situation where we don't see eye to eye, we're living in a fantasy. Really understanding that we need to be growing within ourselves, that we need to be connecting with our partner. It's all about, after a conflict or a trigger, the repair and the reconnection. That's often what we aren't taught to do in our families of origin. How do I reconnect with you when I've been upset? How do I ask you for what I want and need? How do we resolve this issue? So most of the time, I'll say that 80% of whatever we've experienced comes from a past situation. 20% has to do with you or what has happened in our situation. Take your time. That really is my key thing. Take your time. The biggest mistakes I see when people move too quickly and they get caught up in a fantasy about someone. So there is hope. Hope working through loss, working through relationship struggles, and in finding that wonderful partner. So it's about showing up to life with that big resounding yes, knowing that this is what you want to do, knowing who you are, and making sure that you've had all the help and you've got all the advice, that you are implementing everything that you've learned along the way. All these, it's all possible.